5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Please do not change channel.
From Krypton Radio, brought to you by Famous Faces and Funnies and Off the Chain with Yvonne Mason. It's the Hangin' with Web Show Radio Hour, the Internet's premier pop culture talk radio show. You're tuned in, you're logged on, and now, your host, award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomichter. Who are you hanging with?
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' with Web Show. I'm G.W. Pomichter. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't done it yet, we'd really love it if you go down and hit subscribe for us. Just push the little button, come back over and over again, see some phenomenal artists, authors, creators of all kinds. We are at MegaCon in Orlando, Florida, at the Orange County Convention Center. We want to thank Fan Expo for inviting us to come in here and hang with some amazing artists and creators. We are here hanging with comic artist Chad Hardin from DC Comics. Man.
How you doing?
How you doing, Chad?
Doing fantastic.
Thank you for hanging with us, man.
Oh, no worries. My
How's
pleasure.
it going down on the floor?
Busy.
Yeah. It's just starting.
Well,
It's just,
Thursday was like a Saturday.
Yeah.
And Friday's like a, oh no. You know, just like, rah, you know, wall-to-wall.
anybody want to speculate on what that Saturday's going to
Oh,
be?
I know, and that's what everyone says. I'm like going, oh.
Yeah.
You know, you have to like build yourself up mentally. It's just the wall of
And you just
humanity.
came from a panel, too.
Well, you know, actually, I was supposed to, but it's tomorrow. It's actually tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. See,
So-
that's what happens. You come to the conventions, and you know the schedule just blurs together after
Yeah,
a while.
you got to roll with the punches every now and then.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'll tell you what. Now, the web is going to know you from Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
As an artist drawing Harley Quinn
Yeah.
now for New 52.
yeah. And a little bit of rebirth.
And a little bit of rebirth. Okay. So when did you start as an artist?
You know, it all started when I was a kid. Spent a lot of time in the hospital, and you know, this was the era before cable television, before video games, before any of that. And I mean, the only thing there was to do was just
See,
draw.
before you started talking,
Yeah.
the only thing dating us was the little gray in our beard.
Yeah,
Now they know.
Before the personal PC, yeah, before cellular telephones, yeah, and so I just started drawing, and then everyone's like, well, what did you do after that? And I'm like, I just never stopped.
Yeah.
I think a lot of kids, like, I have 4 children. A lot of kids start drawing when they're young.
My boys all went through the phase where they needed a sketch pad,
Right.
and then in their teen years they did it, and then they got a little older, then they it just
Then
kinda went
there's
away.
dates and football and
Girls.
girls. And if you have girls, boys,
Yeah.
so there's just a lot of distractions that creep in, and I was one of those kids who, like, I remember Mrs. Merkel, my history teacher in high school, just like, you never stop drawing. I'm like, that's right, just kept on drawing, sent me to detention, drew in detention, drew on the bus, So-
Favorite things to draw?
The first thing was probably stuff like Scooby-Doo, but it was also, do you remember the Super Friends cartoon?
Absolutely.
So there's Super Friends and Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And
Oh
so
my
I was
gosh, I
just,
remember that, yeah.
just drawing those constantly. And then I found out about comics, I was drawing the cartoons first. I'm like, and then you find out that it's like one person drawing the whole book. And you're like, this is what I want to do, So I really did. I knew at an early age. It's like, this is what I wanted.
So now, when you decided that you wanted to draw professionally, seek out the comic book companies or start going to cons? How did you get introduced to that world?
Back then, the only thing I knew, because I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, and everything was in New York, everything. And, I didn't know anyone in New York. I'd never been past the Mississippi.
Yeah.
And but in the back of the comics, they would have the little, submission
subscribe,
editor
submit,
address. And I mean, I sent them, I had to send them hundreds of submissions.
My authors know all about that.
Yeah.
Submit here, submit here,
Yes.
submit here, so that you can get all those letters that
Yeah.
say no.
And I always got letters that were polite rejections, like,
Yeah.
hey, this is good stuff. You might want to work on this, might want to work on that, and keep trying, And, I submitted like clockwork, never got any type of acceptance from Marvel or DC. But as I got older and the web started, and particularly like broadband, where you're able to send like big files in a matter of minutes.
This has shifted the arts and entertainment paradigm. It really has. Yeah. It's allowed us to reach our audience. It's allowed us to reach the corporate sponsors and big companies. So opened it up so much. It changed everything.
And so, whereas it used to be you had to, go to New York and throw your portfolio down in front of an editor and harass them into giving you work.
You could harass them up before you were done. Right?
Yeah, right. You could harass them through email, and so what I did though is I'd sort of gotten enough rejection letters from Marvel and DC that I was like, okay, that's what's the definition of stupid, right? And after 300 times, I finally, figured it out. And so what I did though is there was a comic book group on the internet called Digital Webbing.
Okay.
And they were like doing all their submissions and critiques, and people were just showing each other like what they were doing, and it was all done on the internet web form. And then the publisher would be like, "Hey, this is really good. Do you want to do some pages for a book?"
Wow.
And so I was like, "Yeah,
Been waiting for that call for a long time." Yeah.
So my first comic ever was Digital Webbing 29, and it was a 20-page Fist of Justice story, which sold 500 copies, and I bought 100 of them. Okay, and gave them to everyone. Like, here, I did it. Finally, I did it.
He just described my first novel.
And but the thing is it wasn't until I did that comic. It's like once you sort of prove, like, that you can step in the ring or you can step up to the batter's plate and at least swing at the ball.
Yep.
That gets you so much further. Mm-hmm. Because like the next time I went to San Diego Comic-Con and they did like the portfolio review or whatever, it's like I just put a copy of the book in there too. Hey, look.
Yeah.
And then after that I started getting interviews at the talent searches and things like that.
Now you're doing Harley Quinn.
Yep.
Were you drawn to that, or was that something that they needed?
No,
to do
it was so funny. People don't know this. I've been working for DC for like 12 years. Uh-huh. Everyone thinks Harley is like my first book,
And now it's like, hey, he's a Harley Quinn guy.
And that's okay, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's okay. I started out as a fill-in. Joey Cavallari, who was someone I met at San Diego, someone who reviewed my portfolio. And I'd been sending him samples like clockwork. Anything I did, I would just send him like 4 pages like once a month. Enough to be on his radar and not be annoying. You know what I mean? There's like a fine line.
I don't know. I've crossed that. I think I trip over that all the time.
But what happened is he called me one day and he's like, "Hey, my artist got in a car wreck, broke his arm." He's like, "I have 2 assignments, a 22-page assignment and a 6-page assignment." He's like, "Which one do you want?" I'm like, "I want them both." Like, I was like so ready to go.
So I just want to say that's how do you respond to a call like that? Am I supposed to be, oh my God, I'm so sorry he broke his arm in a car wreck? Because at this particular point, I'm not feeling that emotion.
That is the first time. That is the first time I even thought about that guy, and I just realized what a terrible human being I am.
See, I was like, how do you answer that call? You're like, I know I'm supposed to say I feel good, but I
was like
don't.
Stepping over his dead body without any concern to humanity and my fellow man. And
you see, and that's what we're all about. We want we want the people who enjoy your art so much through the DC world to get to know you as a guy a little bit.
Yeah.
So now we know about Harley. We know about your journey to Harley through DC. Now we come to the segment of the show I have nicknamed Clickbait.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
So
here comes the fun question.
That's right. These are the questions. The girls go to the web. They shuffle them up. I don't even get to see them before they pop it up there.
Okay.
And your real-life answers are supposed to give you the headline that makes me like a YouTube superstar.
Okay. All right.
I'd say to make you a very popular artist, but that's already done, so check. We'll take credit for it. That's what we'll do. Okay. He's an artist. This isn't even fair. Other than writing, name 3 ways to use a pencil.
Oh, boy.
Well, I think one of them might be to draw something.
No, that's art.
You can't write. Oh, that's art. That
art.
Counts. Okay, so, you can't do that.
Drumstick.
Drumstick.
Okay. Weapon. An improvised stabby device.
He draws the bad guy.
Watch Guy Ritchie's Rock and Rolla.
There you go.
Where he takes out the bouncer with a pencil.
There you go.
And a musical instrument. You can put it in your mouth and you can thump it. And do we have a pencil?
They don't.
We're gonna get internet famous here.
This is. Get it, come on, bring it. Bring the pencil here.
So
from back there. Okay, we'll do the next question, and then we'll play the pencil. All right. If we could trap you at a TV show for a week, where would you want to be trapped?
I Dream a Genie or Bewitched. Like swap me for.
That's pretty. Like Major Nelson or either one of the Darrens.
Yeah.
That could work.
Right? Wouldn't that work? Or somewhere on Linda Carter's Wonder Woman.
That could be awesome.
That's probably terribly misogynistic. I'm sorry.
But it's not our fault.
Yeah.
We're born this way.
Right, exactly. Sort of. I'm sorry. I apologize. But,
even nice guys like
either put me in front of an Amazon goddess or magical blonde bombshells.
No matter how nice a guy you are, you like an Amazon goddess. You can't help yourself.
Yeah, no, you can't.
No.
I'm sorry.
Okay, 2 things that are on your particular bucket list. What haven't you done that you really want to do?
I've been thinking about this a lot, especially after now that I've sort of passed the torch to John Timms on Harley. I mean, I did Harley for 4 years, and I'm still doing issues and fill-ins and covers and whatnot. But you start to realize, 2 days ago, I turned 43. And you start to realize the older you get that there's that clock is going to stop ticking one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your time on this little blue rock is a finite amount of time.
Yeah.
And the first 43 years went really fast.
They seem like they did.
Yeah, just like blink of an eye, done.
Although I remember being like 23 thinking that this was old. My sons
the money I would pay to be 23.
My sons are now that age.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hope they don't think this is old because I don't feel that old.
And that's just it. Your mind.
Yeah.
Your mind doesn't feel old.
Yeah.
But like you start to wake up and like your feet hurt or your back hurts or and then you watch I've watched my grandparents pass and I've watched my parents get old. And
anyone you'd like to draw? Any character you'd like to step in?
Well, that's just it. I think I'd like to do something that was creator owned. And you got to remember like when I was like super into comics. It was the age of Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Rob Liefeld. And those guys overnight, one day said, hey, we're going to create our own thing. We're going to own it ourselves. And overnight became the second largest publisher on the planet. And the big corporations, they've learned from that.
And it's
not as easy
and it's
today.
It's happening now. Like you said, the Internet's changed the paradigm.
Yeah.
The opportunity is there.
Yes.
The question is...
The Uber for comics has not been created yet.
Yeah.
Someone's going to do it. And so I would like to do something where...
Be a part of that.
I've already been part of Harley. I'm pretty sure Harley is going to go on forever at this point. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like in another 50 years, people are going to still be reading Harley Quinns, and my artwork's going to be in those books, and there will be a little bit of a legacy
There's a legacy, yeah.
But I didn't create her. You know what I'm saying?
So you want to do something.
So you want, I look at guys like Mike Mignola who did Hellboy. I look at Todd who did Spawn, and
any ideas floating around for a character?
I'm not a writer at all. I got a lot of inspiration from Sergio Aragonis who does Gru.
Yeah,
he just draws his script, and I'm like, I don't have to write. I can just draw the script.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then maybe I get a friend to like put the dialogue in. I don't know, but. Something.
Us
even
word guys
even
are
if
word guys like me are a dime a dozen, man.
Well, I just we'll see. I'd like to see if I can't create something that
would be amazing. That would be amazing.
That lasts the eons.
We're going to grab some links down below so people can see the great work that you've already done.
Okay.
And we're also but hey, shoot us a line when you do that. When that comes.
Okay.
We want to be the first one. We want to announce that to the web.
All right.
That you're out there doing your own thing.
I will do that.
All right. Where are you going to be next? Where are you going next?
I'm going home.
Going home?
Go to Las Vegas, Nevada.
All
and
right.
then I go to my hometown, see my classmates.
Awesome.
Play a little video poker, get some complimentary drinks.
From Vegas, he knows all the little roads.
Gonna either win it big or lose it all. So, but
occasionally they win it big. A lot of times they don't lose it all.
you You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can't just go in there and throw quarters in a machine, or it'll all be gone. But if you know how to play the odds, you can have some fun.
There you go.
And that's the key thing. You got to set aside some money and be like, this is my entertainment money for this weekend.
And that's it.
You don't go back to the ATM and empty, the kids' college account.
I used to have a rule that said, like, here's my entertainment fund. And if I make my entertainment fund, then the entertainment fund goes away.
Exactly.
And now I'm playing with their money.
Right. So there has to be a little bit of self-control, a little bit of rules that you stick to. And otherwise, they say it's like heroin, where you're just like,
Speaking of rules of the road, upcoming artists out there, what would you tell them?
Never stop drawing. Never stop drawing. Draw all the time. Learn to live without distractions. I teach, too.
Awesome.
I teach.
Where do you teach?
I teach at Utah Valley University. I'm actually a professor of illustration.
Wow, Dean is actually from Utah.
And my students come in, and I'm teaching them figure drawing, and they have their phone like this, and they're doing this, and the model's over here.
Oh wow!
And you can't slap them because they'll send you to jail.
Yeah,
I'm like, what? You're wasting your time. You're wasting my time. You're wasting your parents' money.
Wow.
But
yeah, it is. Learn to focus.
Yeah.
Focus is a big thing.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many distractions. My son and I, for my birthday, we played the remastered video game, PlayStation 3 video game for PS4, the zombie one. It's escaped me at the moment. But anyway, if I had that video, I had combat when I was like 12. Yep. The Atari. Remember when the things were made out of wood?
16-bit,
and we were like, oh, this is the best thing ever,
Joystick was
like
one button.
Barn, yeah.
My kids freak me out because I watch them and their thumbs and I remember the joystick was one button and that was it.
And that's it.
And that was as complicated as we wanted to get.
And the thing that was cool about it is you would play it for 15 minutes, you'd get bored and you'd go outside. But these games today are so immersive and so just like it sucks them in, and that's all they can think about, and
Yeah.
And
focus is hard to find, and if you're going to be in the creative arts, you need focus.
And here's the other thing. The other thing I tell my students, I'm like, you are no longer competing against the people in this room. Like when I went to college, I was competing against the other kids in the room. These kids are competing against every kid in the world.
Yeah. And
there's kids in Brazil, in the Philippines, in Singapore, in Croatia, that would kill to have their job and to do it for 1/100th of what they're willing to be paid. And they just don't realize like how steep the competition is.
It is.
The global competition.
And as the world shrinks, that's what happens to the talent pool that's out there. I'm
like, you just have to be so good. You have to be undeniably good.
That's our shutout card. See, that's what they do.
Yeah. Throw sticks and rocks at us.
They do. Yeah. And just when you get visiting, and then they do that. So, all right. So we're going to say thank you real quick. We're going to say thank you to our partners and friends at Something Unique Magazine, the Florida Book News, Wordfire Press, Space Coast Comics, Famous Faces and Funnies. All those folks are sharing our videos all over the World Wide Web, hoping to share some amazing creators, artists, authors, filmmakers, entertainers of all kinds. We're so grateful that we get to do this. I'm GW Pomichter. We've been hanging with DC comic artist Chad Hardin. Pretty soon we're going to take the DC off that. It's just going to be Chad Hardin. You're going to know it. It's like Up in Lights. He lives in Vegas. He can afford the sign. He's going to get that up there as soon as he wins. Remember, folks, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Authors, filmmakers, producers, anybody that has anything to do with creating independent stuff, comic book authors, musicians. Make sure you take advantage of the 2019 Indie Originals Live Talent Competition going on now at www.indieoriginalslive.com. This is your exclusive opportunity to become an official award-winning independent creator to use that in your marketing. Enter today at www.indieoriginalslive.com.
Who's who, what's hot and what's not. 2019 saw some amazing new creative talents, and now you can peek behind the scenes at the hottest indie creative artists in this year's edition of 25 Hottest Indie Authors, Artist Advocates 2019 magazine. Published by the renowned And I Thought Ladies, this is a one-of-a-kind look into the brightest rising stars in the creative universe. Get yours today at magcloud.com and at andwethought.com.
The Right of Wands, one boy, one right, and a world of deadly secrets that could change the course of history forever. It's time for The Rite of Wands by Mackenzie Floor. When a horrible fate reveals itself during the Rite of Wands ceremony, Myrda must find a way to change his destiny. Forbidden from revealing the future, he is granted a wand and magical powers in order to save himself and those he loves. But Myrda is not the only one with secrets. The Rite of Wands by Mackenzie Floor, available on Amazon.com now.
In the summer of 1953, private investigator Will Lucky Marks was working as the in-house private eye for Arcane Pacific Pictures. Trapped inside the studio with the killer, Lucky must find the killer before time runs out. Lot 28. Own it today. Available iTunes and Amazon.com.
Discarded by Michael J. Allen. In a world where magic is sold like designer coffee, unknown forces have corrupted it, and it's killing people. Now, an unlikely hero emerges. A homeless ex-con creating spells out of a trash can is the only one who can save the city. Michael J. Allen's Discarded. Available on Amazon.com.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on, tuning in, Googling, clicking, whatever the things they have to do to get to here. Tweeting. Yeah, did you Twitter here?
Did you Instagram
is that a thing
today?
Did you did you do the Instagram machine? I don't know.
Knock on your neighbor's door and tell them.
I pooped.
Right.
Because it's the internet. They care.
It's their business.
I don't know.
Everyone's business.
Anyway, guys, we are at Comic-Con Revolution. The revolution is in full swing down in West Palm Beach, Florida, and we're here hanging right now with Jimmy Palmiotti, a comic writer from PaperFilms. He's a writer, really. Writes comics, writes for TV, for film. Actually, he'll write his name down for you. Whatever. If you want to go by the booth and see him.
I write letters if you want to.
You write letters?
Sick, I'll write a letter for your teacher. So you don't have to go into school.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, man. So, all right, Jimmy. So, how long have you been writing, man?
It's been probably around 22 years, maybe.
Yeah.
But I started out in advertising, and I didn't start comics till I was like 30. And for the first 10 years of my comic work, I actually did art. I focused only on the art.
Awesome.
And then I started doing creator-owned books. And eventually, this is way back when Marvel Comics was in Chapter 11. And they hired my buddy Joe Quesada and I, and we took a line of books and called it Marvel Knights and got the company going again. And then they sold to Disney for $4 billion. And then I moved on.
You're still waiting for that call, right?
No,
Your check is here, or just pick it up?
I got the check. It was not very impressive. But anyway,
his cut of the $4 billion wasn't what you might have thought.
No, there were zeros on it, but there was no number in front of it. It was just a row of zeros. In computer language, though, it's meaningless as well. But after that, I started writing more, and so I've written everything from video games to TV show. Had a Painkiller Jane on Sci-Fi Network, Dead Space. I wrote the animated movie.
Awesome, man.
Whole bunch of crazy things. And also, like 5 years ago, my wife and I revised Harley Quinn. So that's the Harley Quinn you see now.
Is the
book that it was a character in the animated series. And then my wife and I got the book to write and draw, and she decided that Harley Quinn should never wear the same costume all the time. It's always changing. And then we put her in Brooklyn. We made her go say screw you to the Joker and stand up being who she is. And that's pretty much where it is now. So we did good with Harley.
Absolutely.
And we're on to other things.
Well, you know what's great is you talked about taking, and before the show we were talking about world building.
Yes.
And that's a character is a microcosm of that, building a character.
Yes.
And that's what you guys did for Harley.
Well, so Harley is a character in the Batman universe, right? Because she worked for Joker. Mm-hmm. And when DC gave us Harley to do as a series in her own book, the first thing I said is, like, we can't have her in Gotham because she'll always be Batman's character, like in the Batman universe. Yeah. So we moved Harley to Coney Island in Brooklyn, right, which you know on some level. we moved her there, and eventually, you know, the boyfriend thing with Joker, she said, "Screw you! You can't abuse me anymore. I'm stepping out." And we created a whole separate set of supporting characters, and we never thought the book was going to be that big, and it blew up, like insanely blew up, and. So now they're making another movie with Margot Robbie, who we met, very nice, wonderful woman, and
well, that character has become something of really a heroine for young ladies. Even as a bad guy, she's sort of the anti-heroine.
She's a conflicted person,
yeah.
right? So she's
because you guys fleshed her out. She's more three-dimensional.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, as created, she was a great comic book bad guy sidekick.
Yeah, visually she was great, and the animation she was great.
And then but you move forward into a more fleshed out world, and you need a character that is flawed and broken
and
relatable,
right?
And somebody that's not all bad, not all good, and. But you see, when you look around the cosplayers the last couple of years, for you it's got to be amazing. You look around and there's Harleys everywhere you go.
We did a show in San Diego, and it was like they asked every Harley cosplayer to come to this one thing to take a photo, and it was like 500 of them.
Wow!
With me and Amanda, and that was pretty cool.
That
it was pretty spectacular.
Really awesome.
And again, my wife was like, "No woman wears the same outfit twice. Why is Harley Quinn wearing the same exact suit every time?" So every cover she got, she drew Harley in a different outfit, and soon that became normal. And if you look at the new movie, The Birds of Prey, that's shooting now, Harley's in a different outfit every scene.
Yes.
And my wife's like, "See, that's what a woman does. Not that one
uniform."
Well,
and we even the Skies had to kind of admit it a little bit. You look at some of the different variations on Joker lately, you'll see that, you know, this very 2D, very colorful Joker. He's getting more color. It's a different outfit each time, maybe a different vest, different
purple
tie.
and green on some level.
Yeah. But it's changing up because our wives don't let us get up in the morning and just wear the same thing.
No, and I also think, you know, so when a character becomes iconic, you can mess with their look because we know Batman's Batman. So even if you change some stuff, we know it's Batman. But if it's a new character nobody knows, then you
got to lock them in. You got to basically brand them right into what they are.
Yep.
So in writing the stories, you know, Harley Quinn's got like you said, a deep backstory now. She went from being the abused doctor to being the abused girlfriend, to cutting out on her own.
Yes.
What was your favorite moment that you created for Harley in that journey?
Well, I think there's a lot of favorite moments because we had fun with her supporting cast. We created the first, senior citizen superhero with Cyborgman, and he's a retired Jewish guy from Brooklyn in a wheelchair, superpowered wheelchair. It's ridiculous, but that's the fun of it, right?
It is.
Because if it's not fun, then why are you
doing it? Yeah.
But when we had Harley finally confront the Joker was a big moment, and we knew it was. Actually, we went, and thank God we had a great editor because we wrote the scene. And then we looked at it from every perspective because we understood that as much as it's a comic book character, this is also somebody who's abused dealing with their abuser, right? So there's a responsibility in this scene of being true to what somebody would say and act. We can't just go all superhero and have her stab him and all. Her words have to have meaning. The idea that I'm done with the way you're treating me, and if you you don't respect me, you can't treat me this way anymore. And little did we know how much it resonated with a lot of people that have that happening in their life. And for the first year, we get people coming up to us crying, saying, "I had this relationship, and I saw that scene, and I got inspired." So something like that.
I was just saying, you get that rare person that says, "Harley did it. I can do it."
Yes, and
that's
we kind of knew when we were writing it.
It's
a responsibility. And we kind of knew when we were writing it, there's a way to do this where it makes sense for the character, but also for the reader to understand that nobody has to take this kind of being treated this way. And there's a responsibility to actually confront somebody that does this to you, but it's not an easy thing. In real life, people don't like to confront a waiter who they don't have service. They're afraid to confront the waiter and go, "Hey, this is cold." They're like, "No, I'll just eat it cold." Like, so we're dealing with levels of confidence.
Yeah.
And, people, they have boundaries are broken. People break boundaries. There's it's a very heavy thing. So writing what seems like a light entertainment, but doing a moment like that where it resonates is like a lot of responsibility in there.
And I think that's one of the things, and you've been writing in this community for a very long time.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that these fans, that these people enjoy, is the fact that something that's lighthearted and fun as comic books or graphic novels or film today on television is you can have a lot of fun, you can have a good time, but you don't have to betray the human condition to do it.
Absolutely.
You can actually be true to the way people are, because we're funny.
Oh, yeah.
And we're
happy, and we're capable of a lot of good.
Yes.
It's funny because not all information, well, I'll say even this for the comic people, they're very smart people. They read, they do things, but we also get information, we process information in different ways, and it's like, so I always say, people go, how can I be a better writer? And I always say, fall in love, get your heart broken, travel the world, right? Because if you stay in your house, you're not going to experience other people, other cultures. So how can you write about something like that? But again, as we get broad-minded, we start to see these common threads, right? And no matter where in the world you meet people, there's always a mom that wants their kids to do well, and it's the father that's trying to help. It doesn't matter what culture you're in. So these little core things are so important when writing, because you realize that you have an audience of a million different backgrounds, but you find the thing that no matter what they read, they relate to.
We tell our creative artists out there that are learning, we tell them, save the facts, the journalists.
Yes.
A writer's job is to find truth. And truth is what connects us all.
Yeah, and the facts are in there. They're in there,
Yeah, but those things we can make up. We can put them in these fantastical worlds or whatever. But if you're not true, to a person, then that person isn't true,
and it feels wrong.
Yeah,
and it feels wrong.
So what are you working on right now, man?
So I just finished working on the Painkiller Jane screenplay.
Feature?
It's a feature film.
Oh, wow,
yeah, it's
fantastic.
a feature film, and. What do I have in front of me? I'm trying to think because I got a lot of stuff. I'm just finishing up a Wonder Woman 12-part story we did for the Walmart books. Like it's a separate line of books for Walmart. Wonder Woman, and then I have... there's a lot of things, and it's so funny because I'm trying to figure out what I can't talk about. I have a Marvel. I have a Marvel project I can't talk about, but I'm working. But mostly right now is the features.
Isn't that the way that works?
Yeah.
There are a handful of companies, Marvel, Disney, all these companies. You can work for them, but it's like going to work for the CIA. And
I don't want to be the guy. I don't want to be the guy that gets the call.
And actually, I'll be honest. Yeah. I think I would rather have guys at the CIA angry with me than have the Mickey Mouse mad at me.
When you do these things, they tell you there's a time when you can talk about them. But I have been working, so I've been doing a lot less comics. I've been doing a lot more screenwriting. I did an adaptation with a buddy of mine, Craig Whedon, of a book that Garth Ennis and I wrote called Back to Brooklyn. It's like a gangster type thing.
Wow.
And that's a fully done screenplay, and that's going out to casting right now. So we have a director that's going out to casting. And I just got hired to do a kids film. So a screenplay. That's something completely different for me, but not really, because the guys that hire me understand that I understand the sensibility. Telling stories at the age, sure, it's a key and a little research, but in the end, it's the same stuff you want to,
People are people. Small ones, big ones, right? Okay. She wants us to wrap it up. Okay. I had one more question, though. So now, writing for all of these different mediums.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been doing that for a long time, back and forth. But now you said you're leaning more towards screenplays.
More towards
as you
film.
change mediums. Are you having? Is that a difficult transition to make for you? Any advice for those would be the writers out there that said, "Look, I want to try. I'm a novelist, but I want to try for a screenplay," or the other way around?
So the changes are formatting mostly, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're dealing with comic is 22 pages. You have to tell a story. A screenplay could, at the very least, 90, or 100 pages. And it's formatting, and it's in a comic book you direct. You're telling the artist what to draw and everything in the panel. In a screenplay, you don't do that because the director wants the option. You don't want to tell them what camera angle. You don't tell them any of that.
Okay.
That's up to them. So you have to. There's a lot of push and pull. If you're writing a video game, it's a whole different format. So it's all format differences, right? And then being able to tell a story within a time frame. So it's not that different. The only thing that's different is the perception of the people hiring you, because I wrote comics for so long, some of the film people go, "You're a comic guy," right?
Okay.
And sometimes it's an advantage because they're like, oh, well, you know how to tell a story. You're a comic guy. Or sometimes like, you write comics, let the big boys handle the film. See, I get that too, right?
Okay.
So you can either let that get to you or you can just keep pushing through. And that's what I did. I just keep pushing. And eventually now the people who hire me for film understand I can do film, but they also know I love comics. And let's be honest, they're both storytelling mediums, so they should have a better sense of that.
The human being has been telling a story since we could sit around a campfire and imagine what was out beyond the firelight.
Right.
And good storytellers can tell you a story on a campfire.
Right.
They can write it down, they can draw it in a comic book, or they can put it on a screen.
Yep.
And bad storytellers can't do any of them.
No, they can't because they don't see past what they're doing.
Exactly.
Also, I mean, I always say suggestion for writers. If you want to learn how to write, then you have to learn how to listen. And so it's not only reading about things and experiencing. You have to listen to other people. In Brooklyn, we used to have a bar called Floods, and it was all these old men would sit in the bar, and they would tell stories for hours. That's what they did all day. And there was nothing better than sitting at the end of the bar and listening to them tell stories. They were great stories. And you just mine them. You change some names. And, like, I just told a story from, One-Legged Tommy over there gave me the best film ever, And it's like,
awesome.
But you have to learn to listen because people have stories. They have their story. And, they say, you can never make that up. Yeah, you run into that kind of story with it. Like, that's so crazy. There's no way you can ever imagine that. And those are things that stay in your head. And we all have the story from somebody else told us that is like so over the top, but it really happened, right? And it's a really great place to work from.
That's amazing. That is, and it's a good tip. Listen, pay attention to what's around you. The stories that are unfolding right outside your windows,
right in front of you,
right in front of you, are the most amazing ones. That means I've got to wrap it up, so I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to say thank you to our partners and our friends over at the Foxwood Wine Company, radio.com from CBS Radio, Krypton Radio, Celestial Healings, J Power Art, Space Coast Comics, Famous Faces and Funnies, and Something Unique Magazine. These are the folks that share our videos all over the World Wide Web. We hope you will too. Remember, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
What's up, New York? I can't wait for you guys to see my new show on DC Universe. You're gonna piss yourselves, I promise.
I think they're gonna hate it, Harles. They hate everything.
No way! It's got comedy, action, incredibly gratuitous violence, and unlike that Deadpool cartoon, it's actually coming out.
I thought we were supposed to make a show that was like super gritty and bleak and depressing. Like a DC thing.
That is an excellent way to make television and film. But everyone in my show is gonna have fun, or I will bash their f***ing heads in!
There's no fun in Arkham, Quinn.
Except him.
Yeah, guy's a real buzzkill. Oh, is that the logo? I like it.
You're gonna hate it.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Channeling the Mothership is an exciting journey into the higher mysteries. Certified psychic medium and clairvoyant Jerry McDaniel's readings, writings, and messages have been received by thousands of people in more than 45 countries. These messages have been obtained by channeling his higher self. How does he do it? Is it a blessing or a curse? And what lay beyond the reach of your five senses? Channeling the Mothership. Explore the mysteries of the spiritual and the metaphysical. Channeling the Mothership by author Jerry McDaniel. Available on Amazon.com today.
This is Cosplay Michael with the Hangin with Web Show. I want to tell you about my friends at Embellis Effects in Orlando, Florida. They've got makeup, costumes, and props for all of your costume needs. And the team at Embellis Effects is helpful and friendly. Embellis Effects is one of my favorite places, and I know it will be yours too. I'll see you there. Or go to embelliseffects.com. And remember, cosplay is for everyone.
From the imagination of author Kevin J. Kessler, the Rosinante dragons are no more. They have fallen into the obscurity of lore. Now warrior Valentine Beret and Seraphina, a magically gifted princess, are on a mission to save the world of Terra. Together they must face the Rosinante legacy and combat the greatest threat their world has ever known. In the end, who is stronger, the man or the dragon? Find out in Kevin J. Kessler's The Rosinante series on Amazon.com today.
Best-selling and award-winning author of true crime and crime fiction, Yvonne Mason is back with a brand new book, The Pink Canary, a book that delves into the life of a drag queen and a marvelous whodunit. You can find this and all of Yvonne's other works on Amazon.com, or find Yvonne Mason on Facebook and Twitter.
He's gonna kill me.
Buy your copy of Pink Canary now.
Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. We are here at ICC Con 3, hosted by Terrence Baker and the Independent Creators Connection, and we're hanging with cosplayer Amelia Poole, Harley Quinn Arts Cosplay and Crafts.
How you doing, sir?
Doing good. So let's talk about this.
Sure.
This is quite the Harley. This is, you gotta love that. If I start laughing, it'll be a better show.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to throw you off now.
Perfect. All right. So, okay. How did you start putting this ensemble together?
Well, I decided that I wanted to do animated series The Cowled Harley, because she's one you really don't see no more. As you can tell, I learned to do the voice. That was 3 hours on YouTube, actually, to give you guys an idea of how different this is from my actual voice. This is how I normally sound.
Wow.
It's kind of like a switch. I can turn it on and off.
Really?
I could have made the pattern from scratch. I've got the skill set, but being crunched on time, I got 2 bodysuits, chopped them up, and Frankensteined them together.
Pretty cool.
So
it's 2 different bodysuits kind of chopped up.
Yep, you can see the gloves are sewn on.
Wow.
So I need a handler when I'm in this costume. I'm going to get up here. I've got 3 here. I've got turning this way, 3 back here. I've got the diamonds on the back of the leg here. Everything is
that is fantastic.
As accurate to the animated series as I could make it. They do kind of change up how the diamonds look. They change the placing. They change everything a little bit, as they did mess with all of the characters' designs a little throughout the animated series.
Why this Harley? What really drew you to this?
She's my favorite.
This is your favorite Harley?
This is the Harley that...
Well, let's introduce the world to Harley Quinn.
Her original appearance, first appearance, I know this, 1992, episode The Joker's Favor. She was created to pop out of the cake in the police the police thing for Commissioner Gordon. Last minute, they decided it would be funnier to have Joker pop out of the cake, so they had her wheel it in. She is the first character to cross over from an animated series to the comics, voiced by Arlene Sorkin, and she was, the character design came off of, Arlene Sorkin was in like a sitcom, rom-com type thing, and she did a dream sequence dressed as a Harley Quinn.
She's also one of the first modern characters to make it into film lore and adaptation lore. Because most of the time they harken back. They try to go backwards. Find me an original character, or find me something from the 60s that'll make people nostalgic. Mm-hmm. But Harley made that leap in just 2 decades. Mm-hmm. That's pretty amazing.
So the main reason I picked this one is because this is Harley to me.
Yes.
People can have their own opinions, that's fine. My opinion is I don't like Suicide Squad Harley. They took away a lot of who she was to me in that. They took away... They made her sexy for the sake of sexy. And don't get me wrong, she's a very sexy character, but there's an intent behind it. There's a point. She uses it to get what she wants, and in Suicide Squad, she was sex appeal.
Yeah, well, I think she was there to amp up what Action hadn't done for DC yet on the silver screen. So what Action couldn't do, they figured a little sex appeal could do, I think. And people love the character, so they figured that would transition. And I'm not sure that it quite did. Again, like you said, we didn't get a full-on Harley.
I think a lot of what they forgot is she plays herself dumb. but that's it. It's an act. She's smart. She's a licensed clinical psychiatrist.
Well, I think the other thing is that they even in the cutscenes from the film, one of the things that we learn is that they played a lot on the abusive relationship that draws her in, but they don't play on her intellect and her choice as much. And that's one of the things that makes Harley a great character is that she makes a choice. It's a powerful character. Exactly. It's not a weak character.
A lot of people forget, she is a character who knows she's been abused and she's working to get over it. At one point, I think she actually throws Lobo through a wall in the Injustice run because he tries to grab her. She's the only, actually, I don't know about only now, but the first character to break into Arkham by herself.
So when did you start cosplaying? You're very good at it. So when did you start?
Thank you. That's a fuzzy time.
By the way, if you're out there want to be an inspiring cosplayer, this is be a fan. Cosplay something that you love.
When people do ask me, what should I do? What cosplay do I look like? I say, screw that. Don't worry about that. Do something you like. I'm lucky enough to have the same build and some people say facial structure as one of my favorite characters. But it's the passion behind your love for the character that's going to make this cosplay good. So, anyone who says, you don't look like them, you can't cosplay, screw that. No, do what you want, have fun.
What drew you to cosplay?
I was a theater kid. And I ran out of things to act in because I graduated high school. I lived in a very small town at the time. My friend went, hey, I'm doing this short film. I need a Harley. Can you do it? Nice. I was like, honestly, I didn't know the character at the time. I hadn't gotten into DC as much. I was more Marvel. I'm like, sure, I can learn. I can do this. And the minute I started doing character study, I just fell in love with this character and decided I want to be her more than just this film. I want to embody this character. Very cool. So I just dress up, I'd have fun. And it was while I was doing that someone said, oh, you're cosplay. And I didn't know what that was. So I went and I looked it up and okay.
That's cosplay. Okay. What other cosplays do you do? What are your favorites? Can you give your top?
Zool, the Gatekeeper.
Awesome.
Zool, the Gatekeeper, and this one and Zool are my two top.
Okay.
I've got a hula version of this one, like a little bobblehead thing.
Yep.
I've got Black Canary. I've got an Amelia Pond in the works. And I've got a Sarah Sanderson in the works.
Awesome.
If anyone has ever heard of the web series Writer's Block, I cosplay their Horseman of War, Janae.
Very cool. Look that up, guys, on the web. We're going to put links down below for y'all. We're going to have a little fun. This has got Harley Quinn in the chair. So, Amelia, here's what we're going to do. Hop into your Harley.
Sure thing, Zool.
All right, hop into your Harley. And we're going to do the segment of the show we call clickbait.
Okay.
I need a headline. So I need Harley Quinn said. Okay? So they went out to the World Wide Web. They found really ridiculous questions. And now we have you all in character. So I'm going to look up, and we want you to do your favorite limerick or nursery rhyme as a child in Harley's voice. This could be kind of... Oh, boy. That's a hard one, isn't it? You got to think back to those days.
Yeah. All around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. Monkey thought it was all in fun. Pop goes the weasel.
Which happens to be a Harley favorite, too. If you had to fill a pool with anything except water, what would it be?
Now you're getting dangerously close to Lazarus Pit territory here.
Dangerously close. Gonna bring it back. Look it up, people. Funniest or lamest pickup line you've ever heard that Harley might have ever heard. Now, you cosplay and Harley, you got to hear everything. So, lamest one.
It ain't so much a pickup line, it's just something that annoys me.
Okay.
I get a lot of guys that say, hey, call me Puddin'. No, that's for Mr. J. You ain't no clown, bozo.
I like it. So, has Amelia ever been in a food fight?
Not intentionally.
Not intentionally?
Not intentionally. I got caught in the crossfire one day.
See, now if you hang out with these creative types, Things happen. That's right. What con or appearance, where are you going next?
There's a couple little ones I might do, but the next big one is going to be Tampa Bay Comic-Con, which I will be helping host. You can catch me hosting the lip sync battle. Come out, make fun of me, make idiots of yourselves. It's part of the fun.
That's what we do.
It's what we do.
That's right. All right. We got to wrap it up. That went really fast. So, as we do, we want to say a special thanks to our friends at Something Unique Magazine, Space Coast Comics, Wordfire Press, Famous Faces and Funnies, Off the Chain Radio with Yvonne Mason, and, of course, Terrence Baker here with ICC Con 3. I'm GW Pomichter. We have been hanging with cosplayer Amelia Poole of HarlequinArts, Cosplay and Crafts, and she's Harley Quinn.
See you later.
Remember, folks, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
It's Germany, 1938. Charlotte is a 15-year-old girl living in the Jewish quarter. George lives in the city proper, and enamored by Charlotte's charm and grace when she wanders into his cobbler shop. George decides right then and there that he is going to marry her. Follow along as this unlikely couple struggles to stay one step ahead of the Gestapo and their dramatic escape from Nazi Germany. Good Things Always Happen in Springtime, from author Joanne Fisher, on Amazon.com today.
How you doing, everybody? This is KG Bethlehem. I'm an author of a new book called Certain Moments of Time. It's a collection of short stories. These short stories range from post-apocalyptic, dystopian, anti-utopia, as well as general fiction. You can find Certain Moments of Time on sale at Amazon.com, where you can purchase the ebook format as well as paperbook format. You can also purchase it at Lulu.com, paperbook format, and will be on sale soon at BarnesandNoble.com.
Now on Amazon.com, War Calls, Love Cries, a Civil War novel by Mark Berry. Isaac Wells is an innocent farm boy living in upstate New York. His dreams are shattered by a treacherous brother and the onset of a devastating civil war. War Calls and Love Cries is a fast-moving historical narrative. It is an emotional roller coaster ride and a riveting must-read book that you will think about and talk about for a long time to come. War Calls, Love Cries is the kind of book you will cherish for a lifetime. On Amazon.com today.
Now on Amazon.com, iCoin from author Jeremy Mosby. It's an alternate reality, and the leader of the planet iCoin is none other than Benjamin Franklin. When corrupt officials threaten not only iCoin but the Earth as well, an unlikely chosen one, Jeremy, must face dark foes to save the Earth and iCoin alike. Author Jeremy Mosby takes readers on a superhero's adventure through this compelling and imaginative alternate universe. Get iCoin on Amazon.com today.
Every year, tens of millions of people flock to Florida for its sunny beaches and world-famous tourist attractions. Most never learn about the strange and unusual locations just off the beaten path. From the UFOs of Gulf Breeze to Robert the Haunted Doll in Key West. Learn about the myths, monsters, and legends from the dark side of the Sunshine State with author Mark Muncy and illustrator Carrie Schultz in their books Eerie Florida and Freaky Florida from the History Press. Find them at EerieFlorida.com or wherever books are sold.
Dr. Harleen Quinzel is who Harley Quinn was before she became Harley Quinn. And she was working at Arkham Asylum. She was a psychiatrist, and that's where she met Joker and fell for Joker. And then born out of that was the transformation into Harley Quinn. And so you see in the film, you see Dr. Quinzel and you see Harley. So you see the before and after. And we tried not to make it. I didn't want it to be as if she had a body swap when her skin got bleached. She suddenly is a totally different person. I think there's definitely, you can always see a bit of Dr. Harleen Quinzel in Harley Quinn, and I kind of played it anyway that Harley is a bit schizophrenic, so she has voices in her head, and one of her voices is Dr. Quinzel. So she's always present. The Harley Joker stuff was so unpredictable. Like the squad stuff, we had done so much rehearsal and we needed to, because it bonded us in a way that none of us ever expected would happen, obviously. But the Joker stuff, Jared and I didn't really do any rehearsals off screen. And it was perfect, because then we would get in front of the camera and I didn't know what was going to happen and he didn't know what was going to happen. I don't think anyone really knew what was going to happen, but you just start, and that's why those scenes were so like electric, because they were so unpredictable, and those characters are unpredictable. People seem to really relate to the flawed characters, and I think it's important not to smooth over that and try to make them perfect, especially when they need to be a hero. You know, I think a mistake is to try and make the hero like the squeaky clean, you know, good guy or whatever. And the best thing about the Suicide Squad is none of them are good guys, and they're all messed up, and they have so many flaws and so many problems and issues that it's, weirdly enough, makes them relatable and in some cases really likable. The squad was something else. Like, the squad on screen is like, it's really cool. The squad off screen, I've never seen anything like it. I've never experienced anything like it on a film before. It was, I mean, we were joined at the hip. You couldn't separate us. It made the whole experience just so much fun and great, because then it was so easy to play that on screen. But off screen, we were far more bonded than you even see us on screen. And it got to the point where, you know, like, usually when you rap or whatever, you head straight to your trailer, you head straight home, like, you got to get work done, all that kind of stuff. But the squad's just, like, always together all the time. I feel like I just, like, no matter how far we delve, like, how much research I do, how many scenes we do, I just feel like I've only scratched the surface of Harley. Like, it's just a character that's like just like a bottomless pit of, like, issues and fun, and just, there's so much to do. I want to do like another 10 movies. I've never felt that way about a character. I always really like the fact, that's why I prefer doing films to TV, is I really like being on a project, doing it for a couple months, and then leaving the character and leaving the story behind.
From nothing, trying to make something. People push us down and we keep on running. Walk through the storm, walk through the wall. Bust through, say we're taking it all. We're going for our dream, can't stop this team. Rushing in and we changing this scene. You think you can stop our movement glory, but we're standing tall in the story. I'm sick of these people being disrespectful. Can't see we're working hard, it's a mental. All around the clock, it's never endful. You can't do the same, so don't step two. Us in a crew, step one, step two. We wanted this from the start, so we're coming through. In your street, bringing that hardcore beat, making that movement from under your feet. From always something new, haters, what you gonna do? You're gonna look stupid on what you tried to prove, because we're pumped in on your block. Sending out, hear my message when we're ready to drop. Yeah,
you can't stop us, nah, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
It's our mission and we're ready to rock. Yeah,
you can't stop us, nah, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
Forward momentum and we ain't gonna stop.
Classify me an addict, cause that forward momentum, I gotta have it. Have at it. Not half as good as the next man. 10 times, bro, gotta grab it by the scruff of the neck, ring it out. End up as a wreck, work it out. Gotta keep it in check, sing it out. That's the name of the game, that's what life's about. To reflect with the best of them, that's what you like to call life's tests, I guess. When you cry, when you're pressed, I said, that's what I like to call life's test, you mesh. Ah, what a sesh. But if you still see rain, then you need to digest what I put in your brains like a pill. It'll make you insane unless you kill what put you here. Who you think you are? You're the highest man here? Well, that's a start. Look around, take it in, we take it all. Now sit back, watch begin. You can't stop us, no, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
It's our mission and we're ready to rock, yeah.
You can't stop us, no, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
Forward momentum and we ain't gonna stop. Run this town like Jay-Z and Kanye, me and Pablo, doing it the LZ way. The temptation with fire in our eyes, getting closer to that one true prize. From the honesty of a hip-hop prodigy, I keep telling myself, nothing's gonna stop me for that dream to make it come true. That's why we speak the truth in the booth.
Yeah, we spit truth, call us the criers. We sing loudly, so call us the choir. Me and Muggsy, born in the fire. No pad and pen, yeah, that's all we require. And the booth to speak truth, and the crowd to rock. Raise your hands to the roof. You can't stop us now, so turn up the track, let's hear it loud. Yeah, you can't stop us, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable. It's our mission and we're ready to rock, yeah. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable. Forward momentum and we ain't gonna stop.